I'm William, the founder of Camel City Mills Socks, and there are some really cool things about the lightweight work sock that you might not know about that I wanted to explain in depth so you could really understand what makes this sock so special. So right now these are available in black, gray, large, extra large, and to run you through everything about this sock and what makes it so special and perfect for work. So first of all, we use something called Ironside Merino wool, and basically what we do, it's in the process of how the actual thread is produced, is how it's actually done. What makes it Ironside Merino. So this uses merino sheep, or merino wool is really well known for being the best sweat wicking, the best temperature control material you can use for any clothes really, but socks in particular. And the use of merino wool is probably the biggest contributor to why our socks keep your feet dry and comfortable. So if your feet sweat a lot, merino wool does the majority of the heavy lifting in terms of getting that moisture off your feet, keeping your toes, keeping your feet from sweating when you're working a 14-hour shift. What makes our wool Ironside and a little bit more special, it's a proprietary thing, so I'm gonna be a bit vague just in case there's competitors out there watching. But a lot of times when any sort of fabric or any cloth is woven, it uses a singles type yarn. Now what we do to make it Ironside is we ply multiple threads together and we spin them around, and so that makes a much more durable, much more dense yarn. So if you think about it, you take a bunch of spaghetti and you can't crack it. Well, that's basically what we're doing. If you're taking like most wool, most socks, they're using, like if you use a single spaghetti, right? It's super easy to break, but if you put multiples together and you try and bend them and break them, it takes a lot more effort. It's a lot more difficult to break. So wool is not super abrasion resistant. It can get holes in it pretty easily, but if you ply it multiple times like we do, then it becomes way stronger. And that's a bit of our secret sauce right there. So that's why we can offer a 10-year durability guarantee on these socks. That's one of the reasons. So we use merino wool, keeps your feet from sweating. We ply it multiple times. It makes it Ironside Merino wool, something special to us. So again, those are the two main reasons we can do a 10-year durability guarantee. Now these socks are 100% USA made. We make them here in North Carolina. We're based in North Carolina as well, so that's cool. I'm gonna jump into one of the questions we get from a lot of people, because our socks are 53% wool, 38% nylon, and 9% spandex. And a lot of people say, like, why not make a 100% wool sock or like a 90% wool sock? They want more wool, the better, right? Well, that's not necessarily the case. And as I said, wool is not an abrasion resistant fabric at all. And if you had a 100% wool sock, first of all, it would fall down in your boot immediately. So that's not good. That's why we use spandex. I'll cover that a little bit later. But another downside to having a 100% wool sock would be you would get holes in them day 2 or day 1. Like they would immediately get holes in it. So you'll notice on the toe and on the heel, this is actually nylon plated. So we fortify with nylon in the heel and the toe, in addition to these ribs as well. And so that's a way higher percentage of nylon on the heel and toe specifically, but it's not throughout the entire sock. The whole sock itself, this uses a 90-10 wool blend. So like this part right here, that's probably like 87%, 88% wool, like in the parts that really matter, on the bottom of the foot, the top of the foot, and then this whole, the shaft of the sock right there as well. That's 87% wool. So the majority of what you're getting, so you're getting the biggest impact of sweat wicking. You're getting basically an 87% merino wool sock throughout the entire thing, but there's so much nylon in the heel and the toe, which are the two parts that everyone always gets holes in. And so while it feels just as comfortable as a merino wool sock, don't be confused by the fact that it says only 53% Ironside Merino wool, because it's really just these few parts right here that make up, that kind of shift that percentage, and because we can only put 1% on the sock, we want to be as honest as possible, but I wanted to explain that. Another really cool feature that we added is we actually measured where a lot of the moisture comes off of your feet, and a lot of that is from the top of your toes, or basically like right on your instep. So it's the top of the foot before the toes, before the knuckles start. So we added, and it's hard to see from this distance, but I'll do a zoom in, we added a no sweat venting along the top. Because we use this multi-plied merino wool, it's a lot more durable, and so we can sew that part a lot thinner than other sock brands can, because our material is so much higher quality. So we actually do kind of like, it's like a mesh, basically. Very breathable, very porous, right along the top of the foot where your foot releases the most moisture and releases the most heat. So it's basically like this like vent that just shoots all that heat off of your foot, gets it dispersed throughout your boot and out into the world and off of your feet, so you're not getting sweaty feet. And then the last thing I want to talk about that makes our sock really cool is I'm so tired of when I'm wearing boots and the sock sock falls into the boot. And so you're hiking up your socks 2, 3, 4, 5 times a day. So I wanted to make sure that when you put on your sock in the morning and you work a 14-hour or a 16-hour shift or an 18-hour shift, your sock is still up right where you left it at the end of the day. So a lot of our customers, they're like wildland firefighters, or they do tree work. And so when you're out, like you're on top of a tree, or you're like cutting lines in the mountains, you don't have time, especially with all your gear on, to hike your boot sock up. And if it starts to get uncomfortable, it can be uncomfortable for hours. So we wanted to make sure it never falls down into your boot. So this actually has slight compression all the way through, particularly in the shaft. The majority of the spandex that we weave in here is in here for that one compressive effect. When you have that compression, your feet feel refreshed after a 14-hour shift. It helps blood circulation, which helps recovery. And at the same time, it makes it stay put, man. These socks really do stay put all day long. And I've heard from people, hundreds of people from dozens of different industries. That's one of the things that people really love about our socks. So if you have any questions, you can feel free to reach out to us, hello@Camel City Mill. You can ask any questions. You can read all the stuff on this page. But I wanted to make this video just to really tell you everything about this sock and what makes it special, because there's a lot of things you might miss. And I just think I'm just so proud of the sock. It's so cool. It's well done. It's well thought out. And at this point, it's been tested by thousands and thousands of trade workers, guys who work super, super hard and really put a lot of stress on their socks. And these definitely, you can tell by all of our 5-star reviews, hundreds of 5-star reviews, that these socks definitely hold up to the test. So if you're ready to go ahead and get a pair yourself and see what these socks are all about and why thousands of trade workers are switching to Camel City Mill socks now, then go ahead, pick some up. And yeah, thank you so much for all your support. And for everyone, all of our customers, I am so thankful for your support and for taking a chance on a small company like us. It means the world. And yeah, we're trying to save the world one sweaty foot at a time.